Have you ever wondered how humanity went from bartering goods in small villages to trading trillions of dollars every single day online? Today, we'll journey through time exploring the complete history of the world economy, from ancient markets to the digital revolution. So sit back and travel with me through the story of money, power, and progress. Our story begins thousands of years ago, long before coins or paper money existed. Early humans lived in small communities where trade began through barter, exchanging goods like grain, cattle, or tools directly. In Mesopotamia around 3000 BCE, the world's first recorded economy took shape. The Sumerians developed systems of accounting using clay tablets, and the temples acted as central economic hubs. Meanwhile, in Egypt, pharaohs managed state-controlled farming and storage. In China's Shang dynasty, cowrie shells were used as early forms of money. And across the Indus Valley, standardized weights and measures were used for trading goods, showing how even ancient societies valued economic order and balance. Trade routes started to connect regions, the earliest version of globalization. As great empires rose, so did organized economies. The Lydians of Anatolia introduced the first metal coins around 600 BCE, revolution in how people exchanged value. In Greece and Rome, coin-based economies flourished. The Roman Empire created vast networks of roads and trade routes across Europe, Africa, and Asia. Their economy was built on agriculture, slave labor, and long-distance commerce trading, olive oil, wine, and precious metals. In Asia, the Maurya Empire in India and the Han Dynasty in China developed massive bureaucracies to manage taxation, production, and trade. The famous Silk Road connected China to the Mediterranean, carting silk spices and ideas, creating one of history's first true global economic systems. After Rome's fall, Europe entered the feudal Iran economy based on land ownership. Kings granted land to nobles, who relied on peasants to farm and pay rent. Trade slowed, and local economies dominated. But in the Islamic world, the opposite happened. From the 7th to the 15th century, Muslim merchants connected Africa, Asia, and Europe through vast trading networks. Cities like Baghdad, Cairo, and Cordoba became economic powerhouses. They introduced banking systems, credit letters, and bills of exchange, the early forms of modern finance. Meanwhile, China's Temps and Song dynasties saw incredible innovation. The world's first paper money, advanced iron production, and large-scale maritime trade. By the late Middle Ages, European merchants revived trade through ports like Venice and Genoa, paving the way for something world-changing: global exploration. Welcome to the age of gold, glory, and greed. When Christopher Columbus sailed west in 1492, the world economy was about to be reborn. European powers, Portugal, Britain, France, and the Netherlands, began colonizing Asia, Africa, and the Americas. They extracted gold, silver, sugar, and spices, building massive wealth back home while exploiting enslaved and indigenous populations. This era introduced the Atlantic slave trade, one of humanity's darkest economic systems, where over 12 million Africans were enslaved to fuel plantation economies. At the same time, the commercial revolution transformed Europe. Joint stock companies like the Dutch East India Company became early examples of corporations, allowing investors to share profits and risks. Mercantilism, the belief that wealth came from accumulating gold and controlling trade, dominated economic thinking. But change was coming, a revolution that would reshape the world economy forever. In the late 18th century, Britain became the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. Steam engines, mechanized factories, and railways turned production from manual labor to machine power. This shift made goods cheaper, CITs larger, and workers more dependent on wages. Capitalism began to replace feudal systems entirely. Other nations soon followed: Germany, France, the US, and Japan, each industrializing rapidly. The demand for raw materials drove further colonization of Africa and Asia, leading to what's known as the scramble for Africa. Banks, stock markets, and new financial systems supported growing industries. But with growth came inequality and competition, setting the stage for global conflicts. The early 20th century was a time of chaos for the world economy. World War I devastated Europe, collapsing empires and destroying infrastructure. In 1929, the Great Depression hit the worst economic crisis in modern history. Banks failed, unemployment soared, and millions fell into poverty. Desperation and instability fueled political extremism, leading to World War II. By the war's end, the global economy was shattered, but a new order was about to rise. After World War II, the U.S. emerged as the new economic superpower. The Bretton Woods Conference established the IMF and World Bank, shaping global finance. The U.S. dollar became the world's dominant currency, backed by gold. Western nations experienced an economic boom, the golden age of capitalism. Mass production, suburbanization, and consumer culture took off. Meanwhile, former colonies in Asia and Africa gained independence, beginning their own economic journeys. Though many struggled with poverty and debt, the world split into two competing systems: capitalism, led by the United States, and communism, led by the Soviet Union. The capitalist world focused on free markets, trade, and technology. The communist bloc emphasized state control and central planning. The rivalry extended into economics, from the space race to military spending, shaping global trade alliances. By 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed, and capitalism became the world's dominant system. The 1990s ushered in a new era with the rise of the internet, communication, and cheap transportation. The world economy became more connected than ever. China emerged as a manufacturing giant after opening its economy in the late 20th century. The European Union introduced the euro, and multinational corporations grew powerful, shaping everything from fashion to technology. In 2008, the global financial crisis exposed the risks of over-reliance on banks and speculation, leading to widespread reforms. Now, in the 21st century, the economy is driven by data, technology, and innovation. Cryptocurrencies challenge traditional money. Artificial intelligence, automation, and digital finance are rewriting how we work, earn, and trade. And yet, inequality, climate change, and political tension remind us that the economy is not just about numbers, it's about people. Today, we stand at the crossroads of change. Nations like India, China, and emerging economies in Africa are reshaping global power. Sustainability, renewable energy, and green technologies are becoming central to future growth. The next phase of the world economy won't just be industrial or digital, it will be ecological and intelligent. From clay tablets to crypto coins, from barter to blockchain, the world economy is the greatest story of human cooperation and ambition. But here's the question: as the next economic revolution unfolds, will we use it to build a fairer world or repeat the mistakes of the past?